Well, guys, we're going to be talking about The View here in this video. And Alyssa Farah Griffin, the so-called conservative on The View. Now, The View went through a period of time where they were actually looking for a quote-unquote conservative host to actually sit in the conservative seat. And we all knew, folks, that the type of quote-unquote conservative they were looking for had to be somebody that was going to be criticizing Trump and pretty much agree with the leftist propaganda that they actually push over there on The View. They were never going to get a staunch conservative, because if they actually got a true conservative on that show, then their left-wing propaganda would just dissipate. That show would get crushed. Everybody on that show is a leftist for the most part. Now, Alyssa Farah Griffin may not be a leftist, but she will actually bend down to the leftist people, the leftist personalities on that show. Now, when it came to Ron DeSantis is getting really pushed up for a presidential run in 2024. I believe sometime this year he's actually going to announce that he is running, and he'll go and stand toe-to-toe with Donald Trump. Now, with that being said, there's been a whole bunch of lies out there being said about Ron DeSantis when it comes to Black history. And we have already talked about that before in other videos. Ron DeSantis is not taking away teaching of Black history. Actually, he said it's actually required over there in the state of Florida. What he is stopping the propaganda from infiltrating the teaching of Black history. Now, we know that this woke AP history course was trying to push gender ideology, queer theory. I mean, when you talk about learning history, has queer theory ever come up in that? Have you actually heard about queer theory in American history? I took Texas history, and queer theory never came up. But the activists out there wanted to push this and put it in to your public schools and to confuse and groom your children. Ron DeSantis said no, that will not happen in the state of Florida. This man's the best governor in this country. He really is, hands down. What he has done in Florida is truly amazing. And the left, they're definitely fearful of Ron DeSantis. They definitely are. Of course, they hate Donald Trump, but they also hate Ron DeSantis too. That's why your left-wing media is pushing titles like Ron DeSantis is trying to stop the teaching of Black history. No, he's trying to stop the propaganda and the sexualization of children in Black history. So that brings us on to Alyssa Farah Griffin here, who was on The View. And guess what? She actually agreed with her left-wing hats over there on The View that Ron DeSantis is actually trying to stop the teaching of Black history. But however, now, guys, she is actually backtrack on that. You can see here, The View host admits she was wrong to claim DeSantis is erasing Black history. However, she didn't actually come out and do that on the show. She did not do that. She went over on Twitter and actually made a post right here, and she never actually addressed it on The View. This is what she put out on Twitter. So I got tripped up on a point. DeSantis AP Black history on air and accidentally misrepresented what the governor is challenging. It's more narrow than how I framed it. And while I still personally disagree, I own that and I explained it was wrong. And of course, on Twitter here, only people Alyssa Farah Griffin actually follows and mentions can reply. I mean, she doesn't want any backlash. And I believe this is on all of her Twitter. Nobody can actually come and respond to her and check her on this. I mean, this is a weak conservative right here. And this is the kind of conservative that The View wanted. Now, Meghan McCain used to be on the show. And also, they have Anna Navarro. Anna Navarro is a Republican, but she is not a conservative. Anna Navarro is a leftist. So they wanted somebody on the show that just slightly different from them, but actually wasn't a true conservative, somebody that's actually not going to fight back against their left-wing narrative. And they succeeded with this. The View is a complete dumpster fire. It truly is a complete dumpster fire. Alyssa Farah Griffin, she tends to agree with the left-wing hats on The View more often than not. She doesn't actually give a strong conservative standpoint on anything. And when you go out there on TV and falsely claim, and she had to know that Ron DeSantis was not actually banning the teaching of Black history. She had to know he was actually putting a stop to the wokeness surrounding this. But of course, she was never going to come out on The View and say she was wrong. However, the people on The View have actually come out and admit sometime that they were actually wrong. It's because they probably got a phone call say, hey, you guys are just blatantly spreading lies. Of course, Whoopi Goldberg has been in some hot water for comments on Jews and the Holocaust. The View is a complete dumpster fire. And of course, it is part of the Walt Disney brand on ABC. The lies on Ron DeSantis, you know, when it comes to this AP Black History course, it needs to stop. To me, I actually believe that what Morgan Freeman said to Mike Wallace, he says he doesn't want a Black History Month because, of course, now, you know, it's February and it's Black History Month. He says that Black history is American history. And he's right about that. I mean, Black history just should be a part of American history. You know, just like Asian American history, you know, all that stuff should be combined into American history. All of these different titles, man, I believe it's actually more divisive than anything. And Alyssa Farah Griffin, my goodness. I mean, if The View truly wanted to be fair and be on both sides of the aisle, but we know they're not on both sides of the aisle, they would actually get the panel to be half true conservatives and the other half to be leftists. But that would never, ever happen because that would definitely stop their left-wing propaganda. I mean, Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg would be demolished by true conservatives on that show. They would get crushed on every single issue, but they don't want to do that. So they actually get soft people on the right that don't actually stand for much of anything. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.